Hello chaps, welcome to John Robson Guitar Tuition once again as always. I do hope you're well. Today we're going to look at something which is often stated but personally I've never actually seen demonstrated, and that is that locking tuners make restringing a guitar much quicker. We've got two guitars here to judge by. We've got my Telecaster, which has standard non-locking tuners, and this Yamaha Pacifica that, as you will know if you've been following a few of my videos, I picked up in cash converters and did some modifications on, the most recent of which is that I put locking tuners on it. So we're comparing this guitar, which has non-locking tuners, with this guitar that has locking tuners. Now, on guitars with non-locking tuners, I use a particular method of restringing that I was shown many years ago, and has always given me excellent tuning stability and meant that I could restring pretty damn quick anyway. So the test is to see if a guitar equipped with locking tuners can beat that. I've shown you this restringing method a few times before, but I'm going to run through it once again just so it's all kind of in this video. And to do that, I'm going to use just one string. I'm just going to do it on one string, and I'm going to use one of those junk strings that if you saw my review of Tiger strings a week or so ago, you will know all about. Basically they're a crappy cheap brand of strings, but they will, one of them will suffice for this. So I'm just going to go and get everything sorted and then change the camera angle and everything, and I'll show you how I put strings on a guitar with non-locking tuners. Okay, I'm going to show you how this works using the fifth string. It's just generally easier to see using a wound string. So first thing I'm going to do is, I know I'm going onto this string post here, so I'm going to measure to this one and just put a little 90-degree kink into the string like that. Okay, then feed that through the capstan like that, up as far as that bend I've put in. Next thing is, you've got to think about which way the string is going to wind onto the post when you start tightening it. So if I start tightening, you can see it's going that way, okay, which from my perspective is anti-clockwise. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this end of the string and go in the opposite direction. I'm going to bend it on this side like this, take it back round and underneath this end of the string. Can you see that loop that's going into it there? Pull it tight like that, over the top like that, and that string, as you can see, is now going to be gripping itself in tune. I'll show you a bit better close-up of that that I've got later on, and then you just wind it on. If I'd been thinking ahead, I would have got my string winder out, but I didn't, so I'm doing this the old-fashioned way, like this. So that is how you put on, well, how I put on a string onto a guitar with non-locking tuners, and that's it. As I say, it would have been a bit quicker with a string winder, and when I do the comparison, it will be using a string winder. And as you can see there, I don't know how well that's coming. Let me get this this end of this string out of the way if I can find my clippers. God, nothing is where it's supposed to be in here. Yeah, I'll just hold it out the way. Don't know where my clippers are. As you can see there, that string is effectively gripping itself in tune. And that's how I've always put strings on to a guitar. So what we're going to do is find out if locking tuners gives me better tuning stability and quicker string changes. So let's crack on. Okay then, here we go. Both guitars are going to be restrung with the same gauge and brand of strings, Ernie Ball 10 to 46. I'm going to start off with the Telecaster so we can set a benchmark time, and then we'll see how much of an improvement we get from the locking tuners on the Pacifica. I'm going to be using this stopwatch app on my phone to time both restrings, and then I'll put those times up on screen once I've done both guitars. So if you'll excuse me for a moment, I have some restringing to do. Be back in a sec. Right then, both guitars have received a new set of strings and the results are in. And this is probably going to shock a lot of people. The Telecaster with the non-locking tuners, in order to get the strings on and get the tuning stable, because obviously there's some stretching in to do, took 8 minutes 4 and a bit seconds. The Yamaha, on the other hand, with the locking tuners, took 8 minutes 24 and a bit seconds. So this guitar with the locking tuners took 20 seconds longer, which, fair enough, there's not a lot in it, but you know, this should have been significantly quicker. I must confess that this is not the first time I've had a guitar with locking tuners. I've had several. I've had a PRS with PRS locking tuners. I've had this guitar with locking tuners. These are Vanson locking tuners, by the way. And I've had one of those vintage Trev Wilkinson guitars that had his version of the locking tuner on. And I never noticed any improvement using locking tuners, but it turns out I was using them wrong. Okay, I was still putting a couple of wraps of string on each post, and it turns out you're not supposed to do that. So when I put the strings on this, literally just kind of poke the string through the hole, pull it as tight as it'll go, lock it up at the back, tune up. Okay, that's supposed to be what you're supposed to do, and that's what I did. However, your tuning is still far from stable when you do that. You still need to give the strings a bit of a stretch. And I think what won it for the Telecaster with the non-locking tuners was the fact that the strings went onto this guitar quicker than they did on the Telecaster, but these seem to take more stretching in and getting the tuning stable, which is pretty counterintuitive. But there you go, locking tuners versus non-locking tuners. That has sort of confirmed my experience in that, you know, they are about the same. Certainly if you use that locking method of stringing up on a non-locking tuner guitar. Yeah, so that's not the only modification that I've done to this Yamaha, by the way. It has a new bridge. With a bigger, fatter, chunkier bridge block in the back rather than just the cheap, skinny trem block that the guitar came with. So there's going to be a side-by-side comparison of that, because while it still had the old bridge block in, I did some sustain tests on it, and then we're going to check out how well it sustains with the new bridge block, but that's for another video. So anyway, I hope that has proved useful, informative, maybe even a little bit enlightening, and if it has done, then please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Just a quick reminder that I'm running a GoFundMe campaign at the moment. It's called Guitars for Good Causes. Basically what happens is that you guys donate money to that GoFundMe campaign. I then buy guitars with that money. I review the guitars on this channel, and then the guitars are sold with proceeds going to Zoe's Place, which is a charity in Middlesbrough which provides palliative, respite and end-of-life care to children under 5 with terminal illnesses. So please show a little bit of support for that, guys. It really would mean a lot. And finally, almost finally, there is a competition running on this channel at the moment. If you want to win a fabulous Blackstar Fly 3 amplifier, then check out the link below to the competition that I'm running and give it a go. You've got nothing to lose. And absolutely finally, if you're looking for some tailored one-to-one guitar tuition, then give me a shout via the details at the end of this video. If you live on Teesside, in the northeast of England, then you can come along for a face-to-face lesson, or wherever you are in the world you can have a lesson via Skype, and whichever way you do it, your first lesson is free. So that's it for today, folks. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you all again next time. Bye for now, folks.